Hey guys, I know it's been a while. Pretty much the game got really stale for me for a while. I played Trap Tricks Hands, um, played Scraps, I played a few different decks, and the game really just got dry to me. Like I played Glad Beasts, I played Evils. You know, I won my locals with Evils, won my locals with Trap Tricks Hands, um, and even like last weekend I took Nordic Penguins, like literally like penguin soldier penguin, nightmare penguin, and no penguin mixed with the Nordic synchro engine, and I got third place at locals last week with that. So I've been like grasping for straws, and last week my friend asked me to make proxies of this archetype, and this is the Cosmic Dragons, also known as the Yang Zing. So I did, and as you can see, I make pretty decent proxies. And in doing so, I was reading the effects and reading how they work, and I kind of started liking the deck myself. So here we are. I've been testing the deck, testing builds, and again, everything you see here is like obviously in testing. These cards are only the ones that'll be out in the next set. I'm not going 2 sets ahead because there's support announced for 2 sets ahead that we're not going to be looking at here. This is like what you can start playing when the next stuff comes out. Another thing I'm trying to do is I'm trying to protect the ban list. So like Soul Charge, for example, it's a card that I may try maybe 1 to 2 of in this deck. I don't have it in here right now because I'm pretty sure Soul Charge is going to get hit. And I wanted to test without it, because obviously any deck that's synchro Soul Charge is going to be good. But as of right now, I don't have it in the main deck because I'm trying to test for whenever this set comes out, and I have a pretty good hunch that Soul Charge won't be here. So let's talk about the deck. As you can see, all the effects are really long. My camera's really terrible, so you might not be able to see that very clearly. But there's pretty much 3 phases to the effect. First effect is what makes them really annoying and good, is that whenever these are destroyed by battle or a card effect, that can be your card effect or your opponent's, they special summon another one to the field. Some special summon in attack mode, some special summon in defense mode, and it kind of depends. Pretty much the ones with 0 defense, they special summon another Cosmic Dragon in defense mode. The ones with 0 attack, special summon them in attack mode. So just keep that in mind. But that's what the first part of these effects are on all these. I'm going to call them Cosmic Dragons, or they're going to be called Yang Zing in the TCG, but I'm going to call them Cosmic Dragons because it's easier for me to say. So that's what the first part of these effects are. And the second part says, pretty much I can synchro using Cosmic Dragon, only Cosmic Dragons, on my opponent's turn. That means that during their main phase and their battle phase, if there's an opportunity to chain something, like where you normally chain something, I can actually activate their effect as a quick effect and synchro on their turn. And we'll talk about why that's good and how that's good. So that's another thing. That's the second part of the effect. And the third and last part of the effect is probably my favorite part, aside from the general floating. So they buff the synchro monster that they are materials for. So for example, this one is going to be your main beat stick. This is Suwani, the fire, level 4. And she's got 1900 attack, 0 defense. And whenever she's used as a material, that monster gains 500 attack and defense. So all of a sudden, if you go into like a Stardust Dragon, you're going to have a 3k Stardust Dragon instead of the normal 25. So they all have those 3 effects. Special summon another one. You can use it on your opponent's turn as an effect to synchro into your opponent's on your opponent's turn. And the third one has a specific buff for each one. So first, we're going to play 3 of the level 4s. Again, this is Suwani, the level 4. And again, these are worms. I don't know if you guys knew that. There's a new type going to be released just for these guys. It's worm, not dragon. So I was playtesting these today. People were like, "Do you think Dragon Rolls would be good in this?" No, because these are not dragons. Even though they're called dragons currently, they're Cosmic Dragons. They are considered worms, which is kind of like an elder mythical dragon. It's one that's been around for a long time. It's gained the status of worm. I looked it up. It's actually pretty cool. But so pretty much these all are not dragons, so the general dragon support does not go with them. So these 3, again, when they're used as a material, they buff and give 500 attack and defense. Next we have Bien, the Cosmic Dragon of Earth. Again, these names will change. He's the level 3 Earth Worm, and he's got 1600 attack and 0 defense. And when he's used as a material, the monster can't be destroyed by battle. So really cool effects. Those are 2 very powerful things. 500 attack buff and the ability to not be destroyed. Quite good. Next we have the Tuner. This is called Chaiwen, and Chaiwen, like the other two, have the first two effects where you can synchro and do things on your opponent's turn. This is a level 1 light, but unlike the others, this one doesn't give you a bonus effect when it's used as a synchro material because it's actually the tuner. So it has an additional effect, like whenever one of these gets destroyed and sent to the graveyard and its effect activates to special summon another one. If this is in your graveyard, you have the option to special summon this out to the field, so it has recursion. The only thing is that it's kind of like Plague Spreader Zombie, and after you've brought it out from the graveyard, the next time it leaves the field, it's removed from play. So you can't just continually abuse it unless you do shenanigans with like Imperial Iron Wall and shit like that. So those are all the three ofs, Suwani, Bilin, and Chaiwen. Sorry if I struggle with these names, they're not normal. Next we have Bixie, and this is the Cosmic Dragon of Water, level 2. Again, with the other two effects that they all share. And this one makes your monster, your synchro monster, immune to trap cards. Very good. And there's pretty much, again, a lot of people are still testing this. Some people will run 3 of these, and 3 of these guys. Some will run 2 of this guy, 3 of that. And it kind of depends on what you're trying to do and the off-support tuners that you're using, and we'll get to those in a second. So there's one more Cosmic Dragon that we use in our main deck. This guy is Pualo. He's a level 1 wind. He's got all the same effects as the other ones, and he makes your monster immune to spells. Can be guarded by spells, or can be affected by spells. Can be affected by traps. So that's a quick rundown of the basic Cosmic Dragons. We know what they do. We know they can be secret on our opponent's turn. We know they all float into each other. And when I say float, I mean whenever they get destroyed by battle or card effect, they special summon another one from the deck. So lots of pluses, lots of chump blocking with this deck, but always material on the field to synchro with. So that's the idea behind them. Very cool. I love synchro-centric decks. That's why I tried Scraps for so long, and there's actually builds that mix these with Scraps, because obviously you can destroy these with your Scrap effects, then special summon and synchro, and get buffed synchros, buffed Scrap Dragons, buffed Scrap Twin Dragons, and I'll be playing around with that later. So that's all the main deck Cosmic Dragons. Next we have the off-theme support. We have 2 Mass Chameleons, and pretty much this guy, when you normal summon, he special summons out a monster with 0 defense from your graveyard, and you can only special summon from synchros from your extra deck that turn. So I can't, overlay into anything here. So pretty much I would just play this, get out this guy. I can now synchro summon into a level 8, which our boss monster is a level 8, but of course Stardust, Scrap Dragon, all those are level 8s as well. And then we'll have a 500 boosted level 8 whenever I do that synchro. If I use the other guy, I can obviously go into any of the level 7s. I think Black Rose may be the only one that would really work with him, because I have Wyvern as my other level 7. We'll go into my synchros later and why they work. But pretty much this guy is an instant level 8 synchro, and if you use it with Suwani, it's going to gain 500 attack and defense, so it's really good. And the last one is Junk Synchron. Junk Synchron works good with the level 2 guy here, because he pulls out any level 2 or lower. So you can actually pull out another tuner if you plan on doing a big play. But mainly what you're going to do is you're going to be going into Bixie here. Bixie has the ability, when it's used as material, it makes that monster immune to traps. So from here you can go into a Armades or a Catastor that's immune to traps. And you can't really complain with that. Now some people will run 2 of the Junk Synchrons instead of 2 of the Max Chameleons. I tried 2 Junk Synchrons. I didn't like it as much as the Chameleons. So went up to 2 Chameleons, dropped the Junk Synchron to 1, because it still does have its abilities. And you do need more than just the level 1 Chaiwen tuner. So that's the main monster lineup. These are all out of order, but you can kind of go back through and see what I have here. It's just material and tuners. Material and tuners. Nothing too flashy, nothing I really need to explain. Again, these effects are super long, but when you break them down, there's 3 different parts. They're really easy to understand. So next, this is where the deck gets really interesting. This card lets me take 3 of my Cosmic Dragons in my graveyard, shuffle them back in my deck, draw 2 cards. It's Pot of Avarice themed, only requires 3, and you can run 3 of them. And you're constantly filling up your graveyard. Again, I said you can chump block, synchro material. They're getting put in the graveyard no matter what. So running 3 of these is pretty much staple in my opinion. Next is a card I tried testing without. I did Pot of Duality originally in my original build. It wasn't bad, but I wanted to try other things in its spot because I didn't think with all the floating that I would really need, I'd be missing that much consistency, but there were points where I really needed just to have the right card at the right time. A lot of times, the first few turns, you'll be setting your Cosmic Dragons and waiting for your opponent to kind of proc their effects if you don't have the right one. So it does add consistency. I can definitely see where you could run upstarts here, or anywhere from 1 to 3 dualities if you see fit. Right now, 3 is working really well. A lot of people are saying, well, why aren't you running Supply Unit? Well, first of all, I don't know how Supply Unit is going to be put into the game. I think it's in that structure deck that'll come out after Nats. But at the same time, Supply Unit is like, it's in this deck it may be too much of a good thing because I want my floaters to be in the deck or in the graveyard. And if I'm drawing into the floaters, it's not that great. I'm not saying Supply Unit's not a good card. It's a great card. But as of right now, because I'm not sure exactly when it's coming out, and whether it'll get hit on the ban list at all. I've heard rumors about that. I decided to stay away from it from now, and if it does become a huge player, we'll revisit the deck and we'll show you how you can put it in. But right now, the draw power that we have are going to be the 3 Cosmic Comet Tails. You can see it's Chaiwin and a Comet coming down to Earth here, and 3 Potted Dualities. Again, you can get away with probably running upstarts or anything here, but Duality is doing it for me. Again, we're skipping over Soul Charge for now just because I'm unsure of the status. It'll be after this month. So we have 2 MSTs in general. I was running this deck without MSTs for a while, and I was just getting beat by really stupid things. So I said, screw it. I'm sick of losing to Kaiser Coliseum. We're going to run MSTs. Dark Hole. A lot of people cut Dark Holes from their deck, but the Cosmic Dragons, they can proc off of your own destruction. So you can use this offensively and defensively at the same time. So just a really great card. Obviously it blows up your opponent's field, but you can blow up your own field full of Cosmic Dragons and special summon 1 for each one that you destroyed. So it's really cool. Book of Moon, Journal Disruption, and any deck that I run a ton of tuners in, I always run Mind Control. Mind Control I feel has been really good lately anyway. Being able to take hands and overlay with them, or taking powerful monsters using their effects. It's one of those cards that I feel it just gets better with time, and any deck that I run tuners in, I'm probably going to run Mind Control. And that's it for the spells. Pretty standard lineup aside from the themed Comet Tail, which is really, really good. I notice I'm not running Lance or anything like that. I mean, really the only thing I'd be lancing on a normal field would be maybe a Breakthrough or a D-Prison, things like that. I don't mind if they get destroyed. So if they're gonna Mirror Force me or not Bottomless, or Torrential me, I mean, more power to you. So this is a really cool card. It's a continuous trap. It's Cosmic Dragon Reincarnation. It's got a very basic effect. When my Cosmic Dragon gets destroyed, this one will special summon 1 from the deck. So pretty much the way this works, say I have this guy in defense mode in this set. Opponent attacks into this guy, flip this face up on their attack declaration. This will get destroyed. Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2, they're activating at the same time, so there's no timing issues, anything like that, because the Cosmic Dragons can miss the timing. We'll talk about that later. We'll bring out, for example, Chaiwin with the continuous trap, and then with Beyond's effect, we'll bring out Zulani, and now we can go into an Armades that's 2800 attack, just like that. So just a basic play that you would make with that trap card. It's so good. Each one can activate once per turn. At least that's the way it is on DevPro right now. So if you have 2 out there, you can always special summon 2 monsters for the price of 1 being destroyed. So we want to get this on the field at all times of the game. This card pretty much says free synchros. Free synchros all day. So we're going to run 3. Next is Call the Haunted. Call the Haunted, great in the deck. If you call out a Cosmic Dragon, your opponent MSTs this later for whatever reason, it'll proc your guy's effect. If you want to MST your own Call the Haunted when it's attached to a Cosmic Dragon, you'll proc your Cosmic Dragon effect. Really amazing. And just any deck that I synchro with, I like running at least 1 or 2 calls. Call is a great card. Some people aren't running MSTs at all, and even if they are running MSTs, it's not really going to stop your call after the monster's on the field. So if they do it in response, obviously it'll stop you, but I was playing this at 3 for a while, ended up cutting 1. Next is skill drain. And this is really the cool thing about the deck, is that the deck's not really affected by skill drain very much. All of your Cosmic Dragons, they'll float in the graveyard and get their effects off around skill drain. And even the buffs that they apply to the synchro monster that you're synchroing are still applied under skill drain. So say I special summon a Black Rose, or excuse me, a Leo, and it got the 500 attack boost. Well, if you're under skill drain, obviously Leo can still be targeted, but he'll still have that 500 attack boost. It's just the way they work. It's not his own effect that's buffing it. It's kind of weird the way it's worded, but it's actually really powerful. And just keep that in mind. So just keep in mind your dragons, your worms, your Cosmic Dragons work under skill drain, both the buffing and the special summoning. It's really cool and really important to the deck. And this is our effect negation. I did have this at 3. Again, got really cloggy. And pretty much all I needed was 2. I don't want to base... My strategy is not based around skill drain. It's kind of like an added plus. Next we have double wiretap. I'd be hard-pressed to not run double wiretap at least in every deck I play that runs back row. And that's just the way it is. Next we have needle sealing. I've seen people running 3 of these for good reason, obviously, because it doesn't hurt you if all you have is the Cosmic Dragons. But I found between this and Torrential, it's really all the offensive push I need. I've seen deck lists with 3 of these very recently. I played it at 2. Decided to cut it to cut one of them and to make room for the dualities coming back in. Then we just kind of have the basic 4 here. These are all just basic good cards. So 40 card deck. You want to keep it at 40. You want to keep your plays nice and smooth. You have the dualities to smooth out your draws. You have the Comet Tail to smooth out your draws, and of course everything floats. So everything floats down here. When everything floats, the deck has a natural consistency to it. You may spend your first couple of turns setting and kind of chump blocking, but once you get your setup, it's really hard to stop you. And we'll go over the synchros now. We're going to save the themed synchro for last because it's kind of it's not complex, but it's requires the most explanation. You pretty much you just run synchros. You don't need to run rank 4s, rank 3s. You can, of course, because you do run 2 rank 3s, 2 rank 4s. Or 3 of each of those monsters, but really the synchro summoning is where you're going to get your bread and butter with the deck, so that's what I'm banking on. So I am running 1 Leo, 1 Mistworm, 1 Scrap Dragon, 1 Crimson Blader, 1 Stardust, 1 Black Rose, 1 Ancient Sacred Wyvern, 1 Vulcan, 1 Psyhemoth, 1 Allied Justice Cataster, 1 Armades, very important card, and 1 Balmung, another important card to the deck. Cool thing about Balmung is, say you have, let me get these guys out. Say you have this guy, and this is how you actually play it on the field, and you say to your opponent, go. Your opponent's going to do their play, and if they go to attack, you can actually, and it's going to be pretty devastating to you, you can actually activate the effect of these two, of this guy. He's going to allow you to synchro summon on your opponent's turn, and you can get a chump blocking Balmung that can't be destroyed by battle. Now, why is that good? Well, Balmung's effect of resurrection out of the graveyard is only prompt when it's destroyed by a card effect. So you're forcing your opponent to destroy this by a card effect, or bounce it away, or remove it. So you're forcing them to proc your own Balmung. Now, I said earlier that I was going to tell you why it's good, in some cases, to synchro on your opponent's turn. There's obvious things to start with. The obvious thing would be like, oh, your opponent's making a big push, whatever, and you have, the material to make a Black Rose. Black Rose on your opponent's turn, yay, we're good. You can do that. You can also go into your boss monster, which again we'll talk about in a minute, and this guy spins cards back into the hand. So you can use it for disruption. But another reason why it's good is that it gets around Blackhorn of Heaven. There was a couple times today where my opponent would Power Duality into a Blackhorn, knew he had Blackhorn, and instead of synchro summoning and just losing my monster to Blackhorn to get out of the way, I would just leave my monsters out there and synchro summon on his turn, because the effect of the actual Cosmic Dragon is what's initiating the synchro summon, meaning if you know how Blackhorn works, that it won't work. Anything that starts a chain, Blackhorn of Heaven can't stop. It's just like Thunder King, Pretty basic rulings. I think I've talked about on my channel before. But it gets around Blackhorn, which is a pretty important thing. So let's talk about the boss. You only have one boss coming out in the next set, but it's really, really good. Right now his name's Gong Fu, Cosmic Dragon of Brilliance. It's changed to like Blaxia, the Zing Dragon, whatever. He got 2300 attack, 2600 defense. He's a light worm synchro. And pretty much he has a very cool effect. Let me kind of read it, because it's easier to say. When this card is synchro summoned, you can target cards on the field up to the number of different original attributes of worm-type monsters used as this card's material. Shuffle those targets into the deck. Once per turn, you can target one card you control and one level 4 monster in your graveyard. Destroy the first target, and if you do, special summon the second. So now, we'll talk about Gong Fu here, and since I'm using 3 different attributes that are all worms, I can now spin 3 different cards back into the deck. This gets around anything that devoids destruction, anything like that. You can hit spells, traps, monsters, and you're not just bouncing them back to the hand, you're putting them back in their deck. So like Wiretap, it puts the problem away for a while, in case they draw it again. If it's a Synchro or an Exceed or anything special summoned, obviously it just goes back to the extra deck. So really amazing card just in that regard, but it has another part of the effect. The other part of the effect is, say I have Suani sitting right here, and beyond here in the graveyard, I can target any card that I control, and that includes maybe a used Call of the Haunted or something like that. You know, sometimes they hang out there. I can target one card I control, and then one card in my graveyard that's level 4 or lower. Destroy the first, and if I do, special summon the second. Now, the problem-solving text makes it to where these don't miss the timing. If you don't know what problem-solving text is, I suggest you look it up. It's very important to the game and understanding how it works. And if I get enough requests asking about it, I can do it, but I feel like that's a whole other video. But anyway, so what we're going to do here is, so we'll destroy Suani here, which will allow us to then special summon this guy. Suani still is going to get its effect, so from Suani, we can't get another Suani, so we'll get a Chaiwin. And if we had a Chaiwin in the graveyard already, Chaiwin would bring himself out. And now we can synchro summon into a Balmung. Now obviously, if I had a face-up Cosmic Dragon Incarnation, this card, we'd be getting another material out of the deck. Sorry, it's hard to kind of get all these cards on here. And just, I mean, this is your bread and butter. This is why the deck's great. The floating's great, all those other effects are great, but it's really Gong Fu here, or Blaxian, whatever his new name is, I can't remember, that ties it all together. So, Cosmic Dragons, synchrocentric deck, so if you're like me and you prefer synchrocentric decks, this is going to be one for you. This deck does nothing but synchro. I've actually become very anti-Exceed lately. I don't know why, but I just have. There are other cards you can run in your extra deck, that's why I'm showing these. Spark, I may find room for Orient Dragon. If the format presents itself to where I need this, I may put this in. Notice a lot of Lightsworn synchroing now, obviously. And then, obviously, Star Eater's just a good general large card, and you can make it in the deck. But I feel like I have the most practical ones here. If you have any questions about the deck, just let me know. Or if I said any wrong and you want to correct me, obviously you can do that too. But I appreciate you guys watching. If you want to see the Nordic Penguin deck, just let me know. I can put up a deck profile for that. It's actually it's not really good. It'll beat the best decks on a good day, and on a just basic day against a good deck, you'll probably lose, but you can definitely pull those ones out. One last thing is that these guys can miss timing, so if they're destroyed as Chainlink 2, on Chainlink 2 or higher, they won't get their effects. Just keep that in mind. Timing issues with the card, because they're all when, not if. So I don't feel like I need to touch on that again. 25-minute video, guys. Sorry, I talk a lot. You guys know that, but hopefully you appreciate me for it. Comment, like, subscribe if you'd like. Appreciate you guys. See you next time.